So if you look right now, ladies and gentlemen, crowd right, Brian Smith is lined up on the runway in the Sea Fury. And Brian will be doing a solo display in the Sea Fury, as I say, a long-standing Tiger Club member.
And this, of course, is one of the American engined versions that have been converted in more recent years. The Bristol Centaurus engine, sleeve valve engine, very hard to get parts for, very hard to get fuel for, very hard to get oil for.
Indeed.
So quite a lot of people have put huge...
And you have to handle them carefully. You can't slam a sleeve valve open.
No.
It'll gag on you, and that's, no. There's only one control on all these big aeroplanes that you have to understand and you have to be in control of. The big chipmunks generally, but it's the one in your left hand, the throttle. So Brian just waiting for clearance to go. Again, the Sea Fury has been modified in extraordinary ways. Frank Saunders, I remember, had these massive vortex generators on. He put a 3,800 horsepower corncob engine in one, which must have been an extraordinary handful. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Smith in the Sea Fury.
Of course, the Sea Fury is one of the fastest piston engine fighters ever built. Too late to see service in World War II. As we said, it did serve in Korea and served with a number of other navies. Sorry, the Royal Canadian Navy used them, and so did the Australians, as did Belgium and Holland as well.
I mean, it's really legalized hooliganism. I mean, Brian, of course, is a retired Virgin captain. Just thought I'd get that in, you know.
I was talking to the wonderful John Tempest a couple of weeks ago, and he was talking about the engine on. He said basically, Melv, it's just a hooligan aeroplane. Operated by Australia, Burma, Canada, Cuba, Egypt, West Germany, Iraq and Pakistan. Initially a total of 6 prototypes here, with 2 with Rolls-Royce Griffin engines, 2 with Centaurus 22s, and another was powered by land with an AD Sabre. The first one that flew was the Griffin powered one, which had a contra-rotating prop. But production was settled on the Centaurus version. It has essentially the same wing as the Tempest, but whereas the Tempest wings were hung onto the side of the fuselage, on the Sea Fury they were joined in the centre, so they were shorter span with the fuselage dropped in on top of them. So it was the first Hawker aircraft that actually had a floor for the cockpit. Told you I can do useful information. The first unit of the Fleet Air Arm to receive the Sea Fury in February 1947 was 778 Naval Air Squadron. Now the first operational unit was T20 Naval Air Squadron of the Royal Canadian Navy, which was very seafaring and Sea Furies in August 1947. Initially designed as a pure fighter, the soon found that it's able to carry a reasonable load, so in Korea they were used as ground attack aircraft as well.
When the Korean War broke out in 1950, the Seafury was the British Air Arm's leading single-seat fighter in Cork.
Absolutely. It says here that during the Korean War, 3,900 interceptions were done by Sea Furies, although most of those were actually on aircraft that had been misidentified. They weren't hostile. It was also used as a spotter aircraft for the United Nations artillery. On the Australian carrier air group, there was most of 2,000. Many years ago, this aircraft was part of the Royal Navy historic line.
Of course, the Sea Fury was superseded by the first of the sea jets, the Sea Hawk.
Indeed. And of course, we have one just outside our commentary position in the crowd. There's a Sea Hawk and a Hunter out there. And again, the Sea Hawk was another Sydney Cam design. Sea Furies flew with 736, 738, 759 and 778 squadrons of Fleet Air on. And the fighter version of Mark 10 was followed by the FB Fighter Bomber 11, which eventually reached a production total of 650 aircraft. And the last remained the Fleet Air Arm's primary fighter bomber until 1953. It then went on to serve with Royal Naval Volunteer Reserve Squadrons, and they flew it up until August 1955. Interestingly enough, the last of the prototypes was eventually fitted with a Napier Sabre 7, very similar engine. That's the H-shaped sleeve valve engine that they originally put in the Typhoon, that gave between 3,400 to 4,000 horsepower. A bit of paper, to which we all bow. It says display and land, so he should be coming back, although we do have some aircraft going back to home bases because of the possibilities of weather tomorrow, but it looks like Brian will be coming back in. Let the engine cool down a bit.
Dangle the Duns.
I have a birthday coming up in October. I want one of these.
So the classic curved approach there in the Sea Fury. From crowd right, ladies and gentlemen, Brian Smith. An excellent display. As he taxis past, please do show your appreciation. Give him a big wave, who can see you from the cockpit. I'm just looking at the landing myself now. And feel. Yeah, he's gone on 2. Yeah. There's the tail going down. There we are. Bravo. Brian Smith. Great job. Thanks, Brian. Outstanding.